sermon. Um, Today, I'm privileged to be the one who is ministering unto us. And the title of the message is Trusting in the God of the Impossible. This verse, we're going to be guided by the verse from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32 and verse 17. And let's read. Sovereign Lord, you've made the heavens and the earth by your great power and outstretched arm. Nothing is too hard for you. So this is the verse that I want us to look at today with the name of encouraging us during very difficult times that at individual levels or at a country level we are going through, so that we are encouraged and we're able to face the future with confidence. So I know we've faced many challenges in lives, some which were too great to overcome, even other circumstances that appeared hopeless. When we face these times, even our dreams, even our desires and our lives sometimes look like they're impossible. In scriptures, when you look in the Bible, you'll find stories after story of people who faced impossibilities head on. If you remember the story of Sarah, of Abraham, she could not conceive. The Red Sea, there was a time it was in front of the Israelites and Pharaoh was at the back, and so they looked trapped. There were prophets in the Bible once and again who faced extreme opposition. Gideon, if you remember the story, was called to go to a battle to fight many Midianite army with just 300 men. There was a time in Samaria when the troops had besieged the city, and the Israelites could not go out, could not come in, and the food supplies were cut off. And they starved so much until they were eating their own children. There was a time that Daniel was thrown in the den of hungry lions. Esther, in the Bible, we remember very well that she also risked her life to go and approach the king while she was unsummoned. We also remember the story of Job, how he suffered tragedy and loss. We cannot forget the story of Lazarus in the New Testament, how he had spent 4 days in the tomb before Jesus came into his tomb. There was a woman with the issue of blood, and she had lived for 12 years without finding healing. Peter, also in the New Testament, faced prison and even execution, yet what we know is that he was miraculously freed. Brethren, if I want to list, the list is long. Yet God transformed the impossibles into reality. He opened the womb of Sarah. He parted waters for the children of Israelites. He empowered the prophets. As Jeremiah has just declared to us this morning, nothing is too hard for God. Today we'll journey through the scriptures to really discover the power of God, the God of impossible. God who is ready to move mountains on our behalf, the God who is eager to display his greatness by turning impossibilities into opportunities and hope, transformation, and faith. When I was trying to think on how we will look at this verse this morning, I wondered if you're listening and you're watching us, do you believe today that your impossibilities are opportunities for God to shine? Do you believe that? Because there are too much in our lives. Do you believe that there are opportunities for God to shine? Our key passage from Jeremiah 32 opens with impossible situation. Let me give you the context. The mighty Babylonian army had surrounded Jerusalem. They were under the command of King Nebuchadnezzar. These ruthless soldiers, had broken the city already, and they had conquered most of Judah. So this is time when they are already besieged. It's like the second captivity. They are about to be captured like the second time. The first has already happened by the same king. So this was once a proud city of Jerusalem. Now it was shocked with fear. Starvation rest was setting in as the siege dragged on and supply cuts were, the supply lines were cut off. So what Jeremiah does, if you look in verse 24, he paints a picture to us of a deteriorating condition, where he says that the city is being to be given to the hands of the Babylonians who are attacking it. Meaning there was no hope. Looking at the situation at hand, there was no hope of rescue. In the face of most certain defeats, because it was like certain, it was going to be, the Lord gives prophet Jeremiah an unbelievable command. From verse 6, if you read, going down, I will not read, I will just paraphrase. God told Jeremiah to redeem the land from his cousin, who was called Hanamel, even as the entire area was on the verge of being captured. So to Jeremiah, this command probably looked ridiculous. He was supposed, after acquiring it, have some document to show that he owns it. Now those documents will be meaningless once Babylonian took control. To human logic, this looks like futile, like an activity in futile. But God's ways are higher than ours. Our ways and God's ways are different. So as we look at the chapter in details, we witness those unfolding events which are more remarkable, and the one that looks very difficult for us is that the impossible instruction that God gave to Jeremiah. Imagine this scene, that already part of Israelites are in captivity. They have already been taken for the first time. Now this is the second time the king has come with confidence because the first time he succeeded. So the enemies are at the gate. Amid of this chaos, God speaks an instruction that defies all reasons. If you look in Jeremiah 32, from 6 to 15, we see God directing Jeremiah to do something which is, seemingly counterintuitive. Redeem. And he's very specific, it's from your cousin. And his cousin, yes, just does come. And he asked Jeremiah to do the same. And when he's doing this, Jeremiah is confined, like he's in prison, because the king of Judah at that time thought that he was not prophesying correctly. And so he was imprisoned. So why buy land? Why? To the human eye, this act looks, it appears absurd. But why buy land that is about to be overtaken by enemy? Why? This command goes beyond just, real estate transaction. It's a symbol of hope. It's a symbol of restoration. It's a symbol of redemption. In time when despair seems to reign, God was showing people that even amidst the ruins, his restoration plan remained unshaken. So what Jeremiah did when his cousin visited, with meticulous details, we see how Jeremiah documented the transaction. Witnesses were summoned. The title deed was sealed. If you look from Jeremiah 32, 9 to 15, the story is well illustrated of the entire transaction of how that happened. And remember, they are about to be captured by Babylonians. Would you do that? The idea was not just about acquiring the piece of land. It was a reminder that one day, houses, fields, and vineyards could once again be bought and sold in the land. It was a testament to God's faithfulness and his ability to turn devastation into renewal. This is well recorded in the same book. If you look from Jeremiah 32, 43 to 44 verse. This passage has striking resonance with the obstacles and uncertainties that mark our modern day journey. So how often do you receive instructions that challenges our understanding? How? How often? How frequently does God's directions appear to clash with our own wisdom? Yet, as Jeremiah obeyed, we are invited to trust and obey even when instructions seem impossible. As we reflect on Jeremiah's response to the impossible instruction, let's consider how God might be directing us in ways that defy our logic. Are we willing to step out in faith, embrace the seemingly irrational, and allow God's redemptive power to work in our lives? Are we? As we journey through this Jeremiah story, we encounter a verse that serves as the cornerstone of our sermon today, the revelation of God's limitless power. This we'll find from the verse that we've just read, that is in Jeremiah 32, verse 17. This verse, its truth echoes through time. It doesn't matter which era, which century you are born in or living, but the truth, it echoes through time. The truth is, as he prayed, how he started praying, he said, "Sovereign Lord, you've made heaven and earth by your great power and outstretched arm. Nothing is too hard for you." This was after the transaction. He's done the entire thing. He sealed the title deeds, and he even gave the title deeds because he was in confinement. He was in cell. So he gave someone to go and store it in a clay jar, so that after God has helped to restore the children of Israel, they will come and see and know that there was such people with commitment and a covenant that was made by God. When they come back, they'll know that God had planned for them. This was not the end of their lives. Being captured by Babylonian was not the end of their lives. And so when he is now opening up his prayer, he said, "Sovereign Lord, it's you who did this. You created the heavens and earth by your arms. Nothing is too hard for you." Within these words, we glimpse the heart of our Creator, who crafted the vast expanse of the heavens and the intricate boundaries that limit us as human beings. Because sometimes we tend to look at what is possible within our limits. The limits that either have been set to us by what surrounds us, including the God's creation. And so here, Jeremiah is saying, what you created cannot limit you. Your power stretches beyond human comprehension. So he could not really understand it. Like I said, looked ridiculous. So this verse challenges our narrow perceptions of possibilities. It dares to dream beyond the reasonable, to envision solutions that human logic would deem impossible. So those spoken in different era, this truth, as I said, is still sound the same today. We are invited to embrace the God of impossible in a world of uncertainty and challenges. Our personal and collective struggles, they find their answers in his boundless might. Jeremiah's proclamation is a beacon of hope. So when faced with this impossible situation, always, it's that verse beckons us to release our doubts and fears, and we start trading them with unwavering trust in God, whose power knows no bound. As we confront adversities, we are called to remember this verse. It's a reminder that with our sovereign Lord, there is no dead end. There's no lost cause or hopeless cases. His power transforms the darkest scenarios into opportunities for his glory to shine. There's no sickness which is incurable because he is the ultimate healer. There's no relationship that is too fractured because he is the greatest reconciler. There's no dream which is out of reach, for he is the powerful author of destiny. So let us, this morning, let us, let this trust that we have now in the Lord to be infused in our faith with boldness. Let us face our challenges with the assurance that God has shaped the planet. As we surrender our doubts and limited thinking, let's believe his mighty hand can transform any impossible circumstances into a joyful reality. The narrative we've explored from Jeremiah's life resonates deeply with our own experience. Just as Jeremiah faced impossible situations, we too encounter circumstances that seem impossible, dreams that feel distant, and challenges that defy solutions. Those essentially separate us from Jeremiah to now. What is common is that impossibility has been shown to run through history. There is a connection from his time to ours. Impossibilities, you look at in the Bible, the impossibilities are there. Now, human experience also remains constant. It is filled with uncertainty, doubts, and moments that test our faith. Consider the challenges we are facing in our lives today. The complexities and rapidly changing world, the burdens of responsibilities that seems unending, the personal struggles that drain our strength. These are just a few among our contemporary impossibilities. But amid our modern day impossibilities, Jeremiah's stories offers a guiding light. It's a reminder that faith is not confined to ancient tales. It is an anchor for our present reality. Just as God revealed his power in Jeremiah's time, he remains the same today. The very situation deemed impossible provides the opportunity for God to showcase his life-changing might. As we stand at the crossroads of faith and impossibilities, let's recall the God who turned Jeremiah's challenges into the opportunities of his glory. Remember that God of impossible specializes in breathing life to lifeless situations. What impossibilities are you facing today? In this very moment, as we reflect on Jeremiah's journey, let's embrace the invitation to surrender our doubts, our fears, and uncertainties. Let's be ready to exchange them with unwavering trust in the God who transcends time and circumstances. As we've seen in Jeremiah's example, God calls us to bring impossible situations in our lives directed to him through prayer and trust. That's what Jeremiah did when he didn't know what he was doing, why the instructions were there. He took his impossibilities to God in prayer. Where must you lay your doubts aside and humbly ask for God's supernatural interventions today? Because I know they're there. Right now you have issues that you can see that for sure unless God does something, I cannot do it. We serve a God who delights in turning desperation into transformation. But we must come to him with open hands and hearts, surrendering our feeble solutions for his infinite power and wisdom. As you pray over the impossibilities you are facing, please avoid prescriptions to God. Don't tell him this is what I'm expecting you to pass here. Don't prescribe to God. Instead, articulate the needs. Are they financial, spiritual, relational? Describe the impossible wall blocking your way. Then make space for the Holy Spirit to impress creative solutions upon you. Expect God to answer powerfully and patiently wait as he directs your next step. Keep trusting even when the way forward remains unclear. His timing and approach may differ from ours, but when the time comes, God will fulfill. God may not choose to eliminate the impossibilities immediately, but we can trust the mighty hand. His mighty hand will guide us until we witness his redemptive purpose unfold. Just as he strengthened Jeremiah for his vital role, God will equip you for the journey ahead. As I come to conclude, when you look at the entire humankind history, impossibilities has frequently presented the perfect opportunity for God to display his profound power and redemption. We witness the same unchanging truth from the ancient Jerusalem, like in the case of Jeremiah, to today. God has not changed. The God of impossibilities reigns. As we conclude this journey through Jeremiah's story, let's not merely observe history, but claim its message. Remember that our challenges are opportunities for God's greatness to shine. The impossible is his playground, where he crafts triumph out of trials and hope out of despair. Let this truth that there is nothing too hard for God continue to echo in our hearts as we face our mountains. Our God's power is not bound by circumstances. It is boundless. His power and promises are steadfast. The intentions of Almighty remains unwavering, unchangeable, and fixed to their divine trajectory. So let's step forth, unafraid of the impossibles, for the journey with God, for we are in a journey with our God who turns it all around. Like, don't be afraid, because there are impossibles in life. When you're in this journey with God, the impossibles that we'll face in our lives, God will change them. So with each step, we declare our trust in the one who makes everything possible. God bless you so much for the opportunity to hear this word. Thank you.